All right, because I'm not using time code. All right, let's start the show. Hey, what's happening, everybody? I am Pruitt, and this is Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit. Hanging out live here on YouTube or whatever podcast app you use, but specifically the live recording happens via YouTube. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate all of the support. Hope y'all are doing well. Rolling solo tonight, so this show may be shorter than what you're normally used to. Queen Pruitt is not here at the moment. As a matter of fact, she when she gets back, she's still not going to be here because Queen Pruitt is, how we say it, has shut it down for the day. It's one of those things. It makes me laugh because she'll send me a message about something like like a honeydew or something like that. And I'll usually respond with, okay, but I actually need to try to get ready for the show. I need to go get set up, get lights on, cameras up, yada, yada, yada. And then she'll be like, oh, as if she forgot that it's the broadcast day, and in the past there has been, communication issues where she would assume I wasn't going to go on air. We wasn't going to go on air at a certain day or whatever. And it got to the point I had to tell her, look, okay, we record Wednesdays. So just fixated that we're going to do this show here every Wednesday, unless you hear otherwise. If I don't say anything, show's going on. You know what I'm saying? So we got to that point. But even still, y'all know them squirrels out there. They just, have squirrel moments and forget stuff. But anyway, she ain't here tonight, so I'm going to ramble into your ears for a little bit with some stuff that's on my brain and share some stuff that's going on and whatnot. Shout out to the folks hanging out live in the YouTube chat. My man John Helms, Cinder Fractal, she's here too. Good to see you all up in here. Thanks as always, folks. Really, really happy to see y'all. So let's just go ahead and get right up into this here thing. Let me see what I got over here. Cinder Fractal says, go Ducks. Yes, of course. Go Ducks. Go Ducks. Let me give y'all a brief update on Go Ducks, if you will. So if you haven't joined already, the Patreon community has seen pictures and content regarding Go Ducks, if you will. This past weekend was the Big Ten Championship, and some of the folks in Patreon would know that Hardhead was in attendance at the game and had a great experience and whatnot. And I shared a couple of videos and stuff in there. And then I ended up putting one video publicly out there. I think it was one that I put out publicly, but everything else was done inside of Patreon. But yeah, that was a great experience. The team won the Big Ten Championship. We were very happy for him and very happy for the squad. And there was still, just riding high. Right now, we're dealing with some challenges with that because tuition is still tuition. And yeah, we need several $1,000s right now, or else his eligibility is going to be up shortly after Christmas. So we're trying to work through jumping through hoops and so forth and getting all of that squared away as best we can, if possible, and working out some grace and things like that. And, but we'll see. I personally, I just believe it's going to work out. I do. It's just going to work out, and, he'll be good to go for the next semester. So that's that. But other than that, he's fine. He's not stressing on it because it's stuff that's beyond his control, so that's what I've tried to instill into everybody in this here household, in this here family, that if you can't control it, it does not earn your stress. It just can't. That's just me. I'm different. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of people out here on this big ass world, that, quite frankly, they cannot afford my attention. So I pick and choose on who I give my energy and my attention to. And that also includes who I give any type of stress energy to, so I feel that having that mindset keeps me sane, and granted, there are some bad days and crap happens and whatnot, but for the most part, man, I'm pretty chill most of the days of my life. I have my moments of frustration, literally moments, but for the most part, I'm chill, because at the end of the day, I'll look back at it and say, can I control that scenario right there at all? And if no comes up anywhere in that equation, nah, it's not worth my energy. It's not worth my stress, because it doesn't fix a dadgum thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the thing. We'll continue to do what we can on that, but I do believe it's going to work out, and I am grateful to God that it's going to work out. I am, because he's doing this thing, and I'm so happy for him. She's happy for him. We're all happy for him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the Go Ducks update. Since we're live now and it's post, it's been a couple of days. I'll go ahead and just show here on the stream. Let's see. If I click on this button right here, like that. Let's make that a little bit bigger. How's that look? There we go. So this is inside of Patreon. He shared some pictures while he was there, downtown Indianapolis. And then he took this little video. That's just hanging outside somewhere.
Hola, me llamo Javier.
Yeah, just kids being kids, that kind of thing. Oh, why I can't get out of this? What the heck? Let me out. Escape doesn't work. There we go. What the heck happened there? Odd. Where'd my browser go? What the heck? I lost it. Let's try this again. Anyway, but yeah, he had some pictures up there. That ain't it either. Okay, so hold on. Let me get that off the screen to see if we can figure this stuff out. And no, I'm not editing any of this stuff out. You're just gonna deal with it. So there's there. Oh, I closed the whole daggum thing. So I got to put all of this stuff back. Dang it. See, I thought Apple was smart enough to just let me close that one tab like that. But apparently I closed the whole daggum thing. My bad. But there were some things that I had wanted to discuss later on. So let me put those tabs in there too. Okay, like so. Boom, there. All right, so now we are back to the screen that I want y'all to see. Let me make this bigger, like that. There. So now, yeah, there was that video. Then there was another video. I thought this one was pretty cool too, with them. They're on the bus heading to the stadium. Downtown Indianapolis. $40 parking near the stadium. That ain't bad. That's pretty cheap, actually. Wow. Because I've paid a lot more for Clemson games. Sheesh. Yep. And that's him and his teammates pulling in. Fans waving and all of that. And there's the stadium back there in the background. Well, no, that's the parking. There's the stadium there. Lucas Oil. But yeah, this whole thing, while this was going on, so he's texting us Saturday morning and whatnot, because it's different time zones. So Saturday morning for us. And then he texted us while he was on the bus, and he's like, man, this is where they got police escorts and stuff. So he's like, wow, this is very cool, you know. So it's cool to see that he was experiencing stuff like that and pretty excited for it. And then of course the game was over and they're down on the field, and he gets to hold the trophy, the championship trophy, and just very, very proud moment for us there. But anyway, didn't really intend on getting into the Duck stuff, but we're happy for him and always rooting for our boy. But I did have some other stuff I wanted to talk about, but first we're going to pause for a few minutes for a quick little ad break. So thank y'all for being here and everyday people doing everyday shit. Stay right there. I'll be right back after this break. And we are back. Thank y'all for being here. Everyday people doing everyday shit here on YouTube, streaming live each and every Wednesday and hitting whatever podcast app you enjoy. If you're hanging out live right now inside of the live stream, please do me a favor and go ahead and hit the thumbs up button or like button or whatever the heck it's called on the screen. And if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to go ahead and subscribe so you can catch this stuff automatically each and every time we go live or put out new videos. So let me give you an update. What's going on with me? You know, last week I talked about the whole job hunt stuff. So that continues. I've applied for some different gigs here and there. I've put my name in the hat for some VO stuff, some casting stuff. And then I was speaking with Queen Pruitt, and she was like, you should look at the junior college. And I was like, well, okay, can't hurt. So I started looking at the JUCO here, Santa Rosa Junior College, and thought about just some more IT stuff, IT tech related stuff, you know, and seeing if I can just up my game, because there's a lot of stuff I remember, but there's a lot of stuff that I've forgotten, and there's a lot of stuff that has changed, you know, because I haven't been in that world in, I don't know, 7-8 years, something like that. So what I decided was to, when I look into this thing, figure out what I want to focus on. And quite frankly, when you hear about the tech space and IT world, it's not the same. Now everything is AI driven, or everything is information security or cybersecurity. And so I said, well, what do I want to be a part of? First off, I am freaking tired of hearing about AI on every daggum thing that really isn't worth a crap. So I didn't want to touch AI stuff. So I said, well, what about InfoSec? I like doing some data analysis and stuff like that. Let me dive into that and get my feet wet, because I remember some of the stuff, but not a lot. It's all fuzzy. So I said, yeah, let me try to look into cybersecurity. So I registered for the JUCO, got admitted, yada, yada, yada. But no, I registered and submitted it or whatnot, and just had to wait, you know, for a day or two or however long it takes. But right after I hit submit, I thought about, there was a time that I had signed up for Google Coursera. And it's like, shoot, why not just look at Coursera? And sure enough, I did at one point sign up for Google Coursera. And I'm glad I did, because it still had my login information in there. And I guess I was still on some type of free version and whatnot. And sure enough, folks, they had a cybersecurity arm in there for a certificate. It's not for a degree, which is fine. You don't need a freaking degree if you know your stuff. And so I jumped in here, and it'll end up costing me, I think it'll be like $50 a month at some point, which is fine considering it's about a 6-month course. I think that's what they said. It could take you 6 months if you go steady Eddie at it. So I started that, and it's going okay. It's a little slow. It's in the fractal. In the chat says cybersecurity. Yep, you read my mind. And big data says John Hill. Yeah. It's some of the stuff. It started out pretty slow because I knew it. It was sort of like, this is a computer, this is a keyboard. You know, it was sort of dumbed down like that. But they promote this stuff to be where anybody can hop into it. Let me see if I can show the screen. Let me see here. Can I put this over here too? Let me put it over there. But they try to promote it as where anybody can hop into this. So I guess it makes sense that you make it to where it's so dumbed down, if you will. And this is it right now. And I've already gone through a bunch of different modules and whatnot. So basically each morning I've been getting up and just going to class, if you will, and just trying to push through it and do the different quizzes. It's finally getting into a little bit more technical stuff now. Like you see over here on the left, it's talking about the introduction to Linux and SQL and Python. Now, every time they say SQL, it sort of chips at me a little bit because it's SQL. It's not SQL, but everybody calls it SQL. You know, I don't know. That just bugs me. Weird. I know. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. So I'm going to give that a go and just keep my head down and focused and get up in the mornings and just go to class and just try to knock this thing out. Because for real, man, cybersecurity, the way stuff is going on in this here world, if you can get in on that game, you probably got a good shot at landing a decent job. You know, even if it's just monitoring stuff, you know, or even if it's monitoring stuff, that's cool. If you can get into doing penetration testing, that's even better, because you're literally a hired gun if you're doing penetration testing, you know. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Next thing I wanted to talk about is, I mentioned also inside of Patreon, and again, if you haven't signed up, feel free to sign up for Patreon, that I will be attending CES in January. I hadn't thought about it because, you know, for the last 30 days, I was in a different world and working corporate, you know what I mean? So I hadn't even thought about CES. I hadn't thought about much of my creator stuff like that, other than shooting the high school games and max preps and whatnot. So it just hadn't crossed my mind, but all of that changed recently. So I started thinking about it, and a couple of things dawned on me. So December last year is pretty much the same as December this year. It's weird as shit, man. So I said, well, let me just embrace it and power through. And then I said, well, what can I do next? And CES sent me an email several times. And I was like, jeez, I guess I should just look at it. So I started looking into it and started thinking. And I said, you know what? I should go to CES, because I went to CES this past year, back in January 2023. But I went with a different notion, a different state of mind. I remember when I went this past year, I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to do a bunch of running around. I just wanted to go there and just do a bit of a reboot and reset kind of thing, because I just lost my gig at Pruitt, you know? So I was like, I just need to reboot. And I went there, and it was the best. You know, I'm glad I took that approach, because I went there and did absolutely nothing. I think I did one blog post like beforehand. Yeah, I did one blog post beforehand, which is here on the screen, and just talking about what people can expect at a trade show like CES, because it's massive, and all of the emails that I get, you know, and they're a bunch of bull crap most of the time. And so far, like this one here, this is from last year. It says the AI dating app for pets and their toys. Yes, that is a real email. That is a real email. I've been seeing crazy stuff like that still. And I don't get it, but hey, if you got a dream, go for it, you know, and can afford to go for it, I guess. So yeah, someone's weird apps and weird services might be the next best thing. Who knows? But yeah, last year I just went out there and I walked around a little bit, looked at a couple of things, and I went right back to the room. This picture here is from getting there early before the show started. And I just had my pass and they let me in. And so it was sort of weird walking through that convention center and seeing just the bare bone parts of this place, and yeah, just crazy. But this year, my approach is going to be different. John Helm says, what'd you say? No, that's Cinder Fractal. Was there a toilet paper robot or something? I've seen stuff like that. I've seen some weird stuff over the years, man. I've been going there for so many years, and I've only missed, I don't know, I've probably missed 2 or 3 at the most, but I've been going for a while, man. And I'm the weird guy. I freaking love it. You'll hear some of the, and this is, and I know everybody listening to this show isn't into tech. Okay, I get that. But the people that are into tech and they hear the tech pundits out there and the tech journalists talk about CES, when they hear those people speak, they all say the same thing and they absolutely hate it. They can't just, they do not want to deal with CES, but it's part of the gig. You have to deal with CES one way or another. And so a lot of people started to age out of it, if you will. It's like, you know what? I don't want to go. I'll just do something remote and try to figure out a way to get information about the show remotely. And that's fine. If you can do that and knock it out, cool, do that. I love being there though. And the thing is, I get why you hear people talk about CES, the people that cover it. I get why people just sort of vomit in their mouth when they think about the fact that they're going there nowadays, because it is an absolute grind. If you don't have an agenda, if you will, or some type of strategy, it's so big. You can walk miles and miles and miles and miles in a day just trying to see as much as possible. And then there's the aspect of, okay, I've seen all of this stuff. Now I need to collect my notes from all of this stuff and get this content created. Okay. Then I got to get the content edited, and then I got to get the content published, and then I got to go all the way back and do this again tomorrow morning, and it's like a 3-day event. So for me, I figured out, I don't need to see everything. I just have a couple of things that I'm curious about each year. I'm always curious about cameras, the big brands, the Canon, the Sonys, Lumix and stuff like that. I'm curious to see their booth, even though they don't have any cameras being announced right now, but I always like to go to their booth just to see if they're working on something else, and then there's other things, be it speakers and mics and broadcast kit and stuff like that. Computers, laptops, not so much. Those are pretty boring now, because all they're doing is slapping a sticker on it that says AI, who cares? And then I always like to go and check out the TVs, because it's been fascinating to watch TVs, just the evolution of them. Y'all remember plasma TVs from, like early 2000s, and how those things, a 50-inch plasma TV was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and the thing was heavy as hell, hung up on a wall, and then to see how that just evolved down to the LCDs, and then now it's LEDs, and then it's OLEDs, and they're getting thinner and thinner and thinner and lighter, and the color is so much better now. And then the resolution, I didn't even talk about resolution. We went from HD to 3D, Cinder Fractal 3D TV, yeah, to 3D, and then the 4K, and now we're talking 8K. And dude, I can remember the first time seeing a 4K and just mine was blown. And now I've gone in there and looking at these 8K TVs, and they are ridiculous. It's absolutely beautiful. We just don't have the content there yet. But that's okay. I look forward to that stuff showing up because it's just freaking beautiful to someone like me, and then there's the whole stuff like VR and all of that. There's always something trendy. And I remember when VR was trendy and that stuff was, it was bad. I tried out the Oculus Rift, the very first one, many, many years ago. I had it on my face for about 10 seconds and then I was ready to puke right there on the floor. It was, and that's no exaggeration. It was literally about 10 seconds, it's just so much stuff out there, just seeing what people are coming up with. And here in the chat, Cinder Fractal says foldable screens. Yeah, I remember looking at foldable phones and just being wowed by the likes of Huawei and stuff like that. But it's not just computers and tech like that. It's all kinds of stuff there, man. I mean, even the agriculture tech. If you go by and look at the stuff that John Deere has out there and those big ass combines and just massive freaking machines, massive machines. And it is so fascinating. And seeing the vertical takeoff vehicles, VTOL, VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. They look like flying cars. They're there, I've only seen one of those things flying once, and it wasn't at CES, and it wasn't flying very long. It was the dumbest. I still think that is a very dumb idea, quite honestly, because of the batteries and stuff. So, but anyway, but yeah, that's CES. I'm going to go this year, and my mission is different. I'm not going there to relax. I'm going there to work. And I thought about it. I figured if when I get there, I can get content created that'll at least pay for half of next month's rent. It'll at least pay for half of next month, if not more, depending on what else I find. In addition to opportunities to shake some hands with people and get some other content for down the road, or even maybe open some other doors. Who knows? So I'm not going to go there and do like other folks when they go and just sort of be a bit aimless about it. I'm going to be fairly measured on what I do while I'm there and how I spend my time. I don't do the interviews. You'll get a bunch of interview requests from all of these companies, and most of them make no sense. They want you to come over there to their booth at such and such time, and they're the most boring freaking presentations. I learned my lesson early on that stuff. Don't go to those. Just show up at the booth. Some of them don't get booths. They'll do like a room somewhere, and they'll invite you to the room, and it'll be a big suite, and it's nice. But the thing is, some of those presentations are just horribly boring. And wow, I just got a nice super chat from Seamus O'Neill. Hey, Seamus, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. Thank you for being here on YouTube Live and your super chat. But yeah, let me show y'all. Let me see. So what happens? I get these interview requests, and I get these interview requests partly because it's my own fault. If I pop over here to this screen, so we'll show you this here. All right, so this is CES. Actually, let me log in. So I'm going to turn that off. So let me log in real quick. Don't want you to see my username and password because I know y'all some sneaky rascals out there. Here we go. So sign in. And boom, there we are. Okay, so now on this screen, once you're registered for CES, okay, so you get this whole list of things of, hey, well, what are you interested in? And a lot of it is fascinating. A lot of it is not. I don't care about NFTs. I don't care about lifestyle, metaverse, not even robotics, and I just check these boxes. And so by checking those boxes, I tell them, hey, have these people send targeted messages to me, and there's a lot of stuff. There's ag tech, beauty tech, AI, gaming, esports, there's a lot of different stuff there. And it's not just computers, cryptocurrency. No, I'm not going to check that. Digital health. I'll check digital health. Let's do that. And AR, VR, and I'll just hit next. And so within the hour, I'm going to start getting emails from people in that particular space to say, hey, they'll say, hey, we saw you are listed to come to CES. We'd love to set up an interview with our CEO or whomever, some representative, to talk about said product. And some of those are good things. Some of those are not so interesting things. And what I do is I take those emails, I'll open them up, and I stop responding to them. I'll just make my own master list. They tend to say what booth they're going to be at, and I'll just plot out, okay, this sounds interesting. This is going to be at booth 3008 in the South Hall. So I'll put a South Hall quadrant up in 3008 and just map things out, And I think going about it that way makes it a lot less stressful and a lot less worried about watching the clock, making sure you're on time and all of that bull crap, especially because, again, some of those presentations, they're just not that interesting, and then there's sometimes you'll get the big companies that'll have their own little private parties, if you will. And those are pretty cool. Last year I went to a party with Snapdragon, and none of them people were there. None of the Snapdragon people were there, but you get this whole pass to come to this massive, massive suite. This suite had to be, I don't know, it had to be 3,000, 4,000 square feet. It was huge, and they're just having a little mixer. You get to meet other people and whatnot and talk about the show and get nice food and hors d'oeuvres or whatever. It's nice. So every now and then you get to do stuff like that if you're invited. Yes, Cinderfractor, it is indeed Qualcomm Snapdragon. Yeah, I went to their little suite last year, and I shouldn't say little because that suite was not little. It was massive. But yeah, for some companies, they won't do a booth at CES. It's cheaper for them to rent out a suite or something in Vegas and have the press meet there. And that's cool, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I happened to go to the Snapdragon thing because it was near where I was that one night. So I just went on in there and said, hey, what's up? Grabbed the whiskey. And then I left because none of the Snapdragon people were there. All right. Before we wrap this up, I'm going to pause one more time for a quick commercial break. Thank y'all for being here. This is Pruitt, Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit. We'll be right back after this. And we're back, everyday people doing everyday shit. Thank y'all for being here. I am Pruitt, rolling solo tonight. No Queen Pruitt in the house, but that's okay. She's actually in the house, but she's not on that side of the wall. She's on this side of the wall. I can hear her in there watching television, doing what she do. This is her day off, and she did her thing as she normally does, and I stayed out of her way, which is easier now since I'm doing those classes. So I literally just come in here, and this morning she walks in after I sat down, after I made our coffees and whatnot. I sat down, and she just sort of stuck her head around the corner of the door. She's like, you going to class now? And I said, yes. And she just nodded and walked off. And then I hear the TV blasted, that was her cue of, all right, if you going to be in there, I'm going to be in here. You leave me be, I leave you be. Cool. That totally works for me, dear. Thank you so much. Oh man. But yeah, that is it. I got some feedback from, it was Joe Esposito. I don't have it queued up to play, but he sent some feedback about episode 58, I believe it was 58, where I talked about Blue Sky. And I wanted to bring that up on my screen here because, again, the whole social media thing is a bit of an experiment with me nowadays because I just don't feel social like that anymore because it all seems so fake. For me, I'm just broadcasting when I'm over there. That's all I'm doing. I'm just broadcasting when I'm on those platforms. And I said, I'm going to try Blue Sky again because I started getting all of these followers, and sure enough, I still have a lot of dadgum followers. To me, it's like 2,000 something followers or what have you. Don't know why, because I ain't do much, but they're following me. And I had asked about, black folks. Why ain't black people following me? and never figured that out. But some black folks have started to follow me since then. I'm on Black Sky, which is really becoming interesting because there's a whole lot of crap in here I don't care anything about. See lots of posts like this right here, lots of memes, and it's nothing that's of real use to me. It doesn't really entertain me. Some of it I just don't get, but every now and then I'll see something nice like that. Like that looks like some, I don't know, is that curry, butter chicken, something like that? I don't know. But yeah, this isn't the content that I'm here for. Falling more in love with her. Your girl lit off the mimosas. I that's not for me, but I pop over here to my following tab, and it's getting a little bit better because I tried to follow some different black people on there. Like this guy, he's cool. This is a sports related guy, and it still grows as far as my follower count. This is Stacey Higginbotham. I love her. She's great. My follower count is still growing, but my engagement stuff, not so much. So I don't know if I'm going to be social over there or not. I think I'm just going to be broadcasty with this stuff. And if people share the content, I appreciate it. And if they watch the content, I appreciate it too. So I just leave it at that. But most of the engagement on here is just these little hearts, like. Not a lot of comments. Every now and then I reshare, but mostly it's just like. That's not engagement to me. That's not conversation. So I don't know. Not my thing. But I laughed when Joe was in his message, because he sent a voice message, and he was like, yeah, some things I can't answer, as a straight white male. And I appreciate him understanding that. But yeah, I don't know. Blue Sky, if you want to follow me, I'm over there. I'm ant.pruitt on Blue Sky, because I am actually me. But I'd rather you just hang out in the Patreon crowd, because that's where I'm social. That's where I talk to my extended family. You could join over there for free, as a matter of fact. So, all right, folks, I'm gonna get out of here. I am in need of some dinner of some sort. I didn't cook, so so this is gonna be interesting. Yeah, for y'all that don't know, Queen Pruitt don't cook. She don't. She tries. She tries, but she knows that's one of her limits. And when it comes to cooking and doing meals, that's all me. I didn't cook, so she probably went and grabbed some takeout, which is totally fine. So we shall see. John Helm says, bless. Oh man, yeah, dude. She not her thing. I'm telling you. I was given a warning way back 20 something years ago, however long it was. The first meal that she made for me, man. That first meal had Easy Mac in it. It had Easy Mac in it. That was probably my sign. No, oh girl can't cook, but that's all right. I could cook and I eat well. I am very, 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 very fortunate on that. And my boys. Well, I don't know if Jacob can cook yet. I think he can manage and feed himself. I know Isaiah, our other boy up in Forest Grove, I know he can cook, because he'll hit me up for tips and stuff like that. And he's always posting this stuff in our group chat, our family Slack, the stuff that he made and whatnot. So I know he can cook. I'm proud of him, because I'm telling y'all, and this is probably going to piss some of you females off, but years ago, when my boys were little, I'm talking like under 10 years old, little, I told them, all right, I'm getting ready to go in here and cook. Y'all going to come in here too. And at first they thought it was fun. Oh, we get to watch daddy cook, blah, 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 But then that excitement slowly started to change, because they got tired of me talking about it. And then I got to I just told him straight up one day, and I guess it was a couple of years later, I said, look, I need y'all in here to understand what's happening with this cooking thing, because I don't want y'all to ever have to depend on a woman to feed you. Feed your damn self, and I truly mean that. I don't want them to have to depend on, a man. You need to be able to know how to make a sandwich. And if you need to turn on an oven and whatnot, you need to know how to do that. You need to know the basics of cooking, and even if it's just frying an egg or boiling an egg and stuff like that. And I was adamant about that. And Cinder Fractal says, I recently watched all of your knucklehead videos. No, they're hard heads. So cute when your son mentioned, how my dad is with Clemson and Orange. Man, yeah, I'm very, very happy that I had a camera around and recorded a lot of stuff, because every now and then I still go back and I look at some of those old videos of them, and dude, just seeing where they come from and where they are now, man, I'm really glad that I recorded some of that stuff. And granted, a lot of it is still burned in right here, but it's pretty fun every now and again to pull up a video off of the YouTube playlist of the Hardheads and stick it in the family chat and be like, yeah, this was 8 years ago, or this was 10 years ago, and seeing some of the foolishness they've done. Yeah, they've always helped me cook. I think one of the first cooking video things they did is I was teaching them how to bake homemade cookies, because I love cookies. I love pie and I love cookies. Can't make pie. I still can't quite get a daggum pie crust right, but I can make cookies. Yeah. So, oh, that's the one. Cinder Fractal says, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah. Just getting them to figure out how to make cookies. And that point forward, they got it. They could make cookies themselves later. Granted, they don't do it now. They're still asking if I'd make cookies. At least a couple of years ago, they would ask if I make cookies. Queen Pruitt is always asking that stuff, but she can't do cookies anymore unless I make gluten-free. And I don't know about the flour for gluten-free cookies just yet, because it's been tricky just for some of the other stuff. So not diving into it. Anyway, that's it for the night, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for hanging out and just chit-chatting with us and being a part of our extended family. Y'all have no idea. It really does mean a lot. I had some other stuff to talk about, but she ain't over there, because it was a couple things in particular that I wanted to bring up with her just to get her thoughts, but we can cue it up for another time. I think it'll be all right, because it's usually fairly evergreen stuff that comes up. Again, feel free to share this show out with anybody that you know and love. And also feel free to share this show with someone that absolutely gets on your nerves too. I don't care. Just send it out. Share it on YouTube, social medias, what have you. Share it far and wide. And again, if you're interested in joining the Patreon community, you can join the Patreon community for free. And if you want to be a paid member, I have a discount going on right now for 20% off. And I think I'm ending it on the 20th of December. But yeah, if you want to join for free, you can. You don't get all of the stuff in there, but it's still a decent community of folks in there, including the folks that are hanging out right now in this here live stream. As a matter of fact, you Patreon folks will get this recording with all of the screw ups and non-edited and no ads, all of that stuff. Y'all will get that first before the regular published, processed version of the show goes out first thing in the morning. All right, folks, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you again. I love y'all. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for someone else, and know that it is okay to love you some you. And yes, Biscuit is in there on the couch chilling. That dude is happy right now because she's watching TV on the couch. He's on the couch with her. Yeah, that fat rascal, he's chilling, loving life. All right, I'll see y'all later. Deuces.